Hello everybody and welcome back. My continuation of my book reading of The Time Machine. And I am at the last chapter. Chapter 15. Coming Home. So I came back. I think I fainted in the machine. When I felt better, the change from day to night had started again. The sun was golden and the sky was blue. I breathed more freely. The shape of the land moved here and there. At last I saw again the shadows of houses, the signs of humans. These, too, changed and passed, and others came. Soon I began to recognize our own smaller and familiar buildings, and the hand of the 1000th dial returned to its starting point. Then the old walls of the laboratory came around me. Very gently now, I slowed the machine down. I think I have told you that when I started, before my speed became very high, Mrs. Watchett, my cook, had walked across the room. She moved, as it seemed to me, very quickly. As I returned, I passed again across that minute, and now all her movements appeared to be the exact opposite of the ones she had made before. And just before that, I seemed to see you, sorry about that, Hillier for the moment. The time traveler looked at me as he spoke. Then I stopped the machine, got off it very shakily, and sat down on my chair. For several minutes I shook violently. Then I became calmer. Around me was my old laboratory again, exactly as it had been. But not exactly. The machine had started from the southeast corner. It had stopped again in the northwest. That gives you the exact distance from my little lawn to the pedestal of the White Sphinx into which the Morlocks had carried it. For a time my brain went dead. Then I got up and came through here limping, because my heel was still painful. I saw the newspaper on the table by the door. I found the date really was today, and looking at the clock I saw that the time was almost 8 o'clock. Then I heard your voices and the sound of plates. I smelled well-cooked meat and opened the door to the dining room. You know the rest. He looked at the medical man. No, I can't expect you to believe it. Accept it as a lie, or as a guess at the future. See, I dreamed it in the laboratory. But as a story, what do you think of it? He picked up his pipe and began in his usual way to play with it in his hands. I took my eyes off his face and looked around at the others. The medical man was staring at our host. The editor was looking hard at the end of his cigarette, his sixth. The journalist searched in his pocket for his watch. The others, as I remember, did not move. The editor stood up and shook his head. What a pity that you are not a writer of stories, he said, putting his hand on the time traveler's shoulder. You don't believe it? Well, I thought not. The time traveler turned to us. Where are the matches? He said. He lit his pipe, blowing smoke. To tell you the truth, I can't really believe it myself, but his eye fell with a questioning look on the dead white flowers on the little table. Then he turned over the hand holding his pipe. I saw he was looking at some red marks. The medical man rose, came to the lamp and examined the flowers. This one is odd, he said. The psychologist bent forward to see, holding out his hand for one of them. It's strange, said the medical man, but I certainly don't know what type of flower these are. Can I have them? The time traveler thought for a few seconds. Then he suddenly said, certainly not. Where did you really get them? Said the medical man. The time traveler put his hand to his head. I thought he was trying to remember something. They were put into my pocket by Weena. He stared around the room. I'm beginning to forget it all. Did I ever make a time machine? Or a model of a time machine? Or is it only a dream? I must look at that machine, if there is one. He picked up the lamp quickly and carried it through the door. We followed him. There in the lamplight was the machine, with brown spots and mud on it, bits of grass on the lower parts, and one side bent. The time traveler put the lamp down on the table and touched the damaged side. It's all right now, he said. My story was true. I am sorry I brought you out here in the cold. He picked up the lamp, and in total silence we returned to the smoking room. He came into the hall with us and helped the editor on with his coat. The medical man looked into his face and after a few seconds told him he was suffering from too much work. The time traveler laughed loudly. I remember him standing at the open door, shouting good night. I walked some distance with the editor. He thought the story was a colorful lie. I was unable to make up my mind. It was so strange and the telling was so believable and serious. I lay awake most of the night thinking about it. The next day, I went to see the time traveler again. I was told he was in the laboratory. I went there, but it was empty. I stared for a minute at the time machine and put out a hand and touched the lever. It shook like a branch in the wind. Its movement surprised me greatly, and I had a strange memory of childhood days when I was not allowed to touch things. I went back into the smoking room and found the time traveler there. He had a small camera on the one arm and a bag under the other. He laughed when he saw me. I'm very busy, he said, with that thing in there. But is it not a joke? I said. Do you really travel through time? Really and truly I do. And he looked straight into my eyes. I only want half an hour, he said. I know why you came. And it's very good of you. There are some magazines here. If you will stay for lunch, I shall prove this time traveling to you completely. I shall even bring back some things for you to look at. Will you forgive me if I leave you now? I agreed, not really understanding the full meaning of his words, and he left the room. I heard the door of the laboratory shut, sat down in a chair, and picked up the daily paper. What was he going to do before lunchtime? Then suddenly I was reminded by an advertisement that I had promised to meet a friend at 2. I looked at my watch and saw that there was just enough time, so I got up and went to tell the time traveler. As I took hold of the handle of the laboratory door, I heard a shout, then strange noises. A sudden wind blew around me as I opened the door, and from inside came the sound of broken glass falling on the floor. The time traveler was not there. I seemed to see a ghostly, unclear figure sitting in a moving machine for a moment, but all of this disappeared. The time machine had gone. The window was broken. I was surprised and unable to understand. As I stood staring, the door into the garden opened and a servant appeared. We looked at each other, then ideas began to come. Has Mr. gone out that way? I said. No, sir. No one has come out this way. And then I understood. I stayed there waiting for the time traveler, waiting for the second, perhaps stranger story and the objects and photographs he would bring with him. But I am beginning to fear that I must wait a lifetime. The time traveler disappeared 3 years ago. As everyone knows now, he has never returned. And that was the end of chapter 15, Coming Home, and the end of the book reading of The Time Machine. To be honest, I really enjoyed this book. I think it was very well written, even though it's the easy book read, or the easy version to read. And I've seen the original movie as well, from 1960, and it's still one of my favorite adventure movies. I think it's a very good movie. But I also noticed that they left out a lot of things from the book. There was a lot more details in in this book that I read of the time machine than there was actually in the movie. But still, I both enjoyed it. I both enjoyed the movie and the book itself. I wasn't too crazy about the remake that they did. I think it was 2002. I think that was a really bad version. Totally unnecessary. But if you're curious about the movie, there will be 2 links in the description. 2 links of the 2 trailers. So the one from 1960 and the one from 2002, I think. So if you're curious about it, go check it out. Go check out the trailers and then maybe look at the movies itself if you can find them online. And yeah, that was the end of my my book reading of The Time Machine. I think it's a very good book. I would definitely recommend it if you're curious about it, reading it yourself. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoy it. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.